Hello, welcome to this recap of Freelancers Season 1. In episode 1, we are introduced to the freelancers who run a video production company called Video Production Company. So, in this episode, we are introduced to them and they try to get a job at a fairly big car brand known as Tesla. So, this group, they decide to try and get here, and unfortunately, they fail in getting the job. Now, one of the characters, Jonah, was before she was a sign spinner, and her former employers, in fact Krispy Kreme, are trying to get her back in employment. However, when they're filming a video for office safety, unfortunately they cause an accident when one of the characters is falling asleep and accidentally causes a problem. Of course, what this causes is the company to try and sue them. They then take the entire episode trying to source the money to get the payment for the damaged person. So the schemes they hit on is a varying degree. There are a couple of things they do. They find all their hidden money. One of the characters lets someone perform a medical study that is incredibly unethical. It really shouldn't be allowed. And other characters offer foot rubs and all things. Also, one of the characters named Jonah takes a couple of thousand for an advance for a new job at Krispy Kreme sign dancing. But unfortunately, one of the characters named Devon also swaps their house for a tent because they also, one of the other schemes they were head on was Dunny and blood. So yeah, well, plasma specifically, but Anyway, so yeah, at the end of the episode, they have no home and they're now in a tent, and yeah, they don't get sued. So yeah, that's the end of episode 1. So, in episode 2 of Freelancers, the plot follows them as they record a advertisement for a witch. I'm not sure how you'd say it. And this is when real magic is actually introduced in the story, because it's real magic. Unfortunately, she doesn't pay them, and instead that she curses them. So and the curses kind of come true. However, in this episode, we are also introduced to ClickFunnels, a thing that has been considered a scam by some people. So, interesting advertising partners. Also, I think the advertising might be actually illegal because they do name drop them, and like they talk about how all you need to do is invest in advertising and then your website will get the customers. And at the end of the story, someone buys all the customers they spent on advertising because they got too many customers, and someone buys it all, so their advertising costs are completely blanked out, which doesn't happen. Yeah. I don't know what was going on with this episode, but it did. I think that it may be illegal if not illegal, like against YouTube's terms of service to advertise ClickFunnels like that. I have a feeling. A subplot to this is also that one of a food chain that they eat at, the man who runs it died, and his son killed him to steal the recipe. The son actually loses the recipe at the end of the episode, but you know. One of the not so bad curses is a doll which gives one of the characters free lollipops, and when that curse is lifted, obviously they're sad. Yeah, they're sad after that, you know. But ultimately, at the end of the story, they actually curse the woman, and then she lifts her curse, so that they lift their curse. And ultimately, yeah, the episode ends with, Ryan being saddened at the fact of the doll being gone forever now. And then the last thing is the guy who uh, was the son of the fast food owner. loses the recipe that he stole his father for. Yeah, I'm not sure about this episode. It was kind of a. I'm not sure if it's legal to have ClickFunnels sponsoring it like this, because it seems like it's not, because like they do name drop them and talk about how they sent them T-shirts, and it's just very weird. Anyway, so in episode 3 of Freelancers, we are now introduced to the theme of karate. So the 3 boys of the show, well, actually they're not boys. I remember, you know what I mean. They take up karate after filming an ad for a karate master, and well, this coincides with them insulting Uh, Danny DeVito, which angers one of the, which results in her paying the neighbor to push over Devon's bike, which results in her thinking that the 3 boys who are dressed up as karate masters have pushed over the bike. So she beats them up, and story ends with Devon being sorry, but also so is Jonah. So yeah, that's where the series ends. The episode ends. In the next episode, in episode 4 of Freelancers, we are introduced to a 2-part series where they are making an advert for a dating app. In the start of the thing, they run over their neighbor who just wants to be friends with them. Then they come to the actual pitch, and unfortunately one of them does the whole jingle that they made incorrectly, which obviously the party does is affects the name of the company, so that angers the person in the company, and well, they give them a challenge. They say, if you want to actually get the job, well, then you're going to have to get a match for love for some reason. So yeah, in this episode, they go off and they try and find dates, and all they all fail. And at the end of the episode, they decide to use the app to get dates. So in the second part of Love Match Supreme, which is also considered to be the 5th episode in the Freelancers season 1, they decide to actually use the app that they're thinking of working with to actually find dates. So yeah, in this episode, they all set profiles and they are all about the place, and unfortunately, they get catfished by their neighbor, who decides to set up fake profiles for them to come with, which causes them to not succeed in the objective. They then spend some time making fun of someone for their looks, which is just kind of not a good look. But anyway, then they give them a second chance. Unfortunately, yeah, they feck it up again. So the second chance is ruined, and the episode ends with that happening, and the credits roll with them, doing their jingle, which took them all night to do, which is a short jingle. Anyway, in the next episode. So in episode 6 of Freelancers, we have a situation which a haunted house person refuses to pay them because they said in the contract that they had to to go to the haunted house in order to be paid. Don't know how it's set up in court. For instance, it is America, so employment law isn't great there, but So yeah, they do, and it's mostly fine. You know, Zona gets attracted to someone who's underage, so yeah. And yeah, Devin goes has had traumatic experiences beforehand, so doesn't exactly cope well with the haunted house. So it goes kind of insane. Anyway, so really through the episodes there is also things going on, and they make their way through the house. Devin has to be rescued, and yeah. Then in the next episode, so in episode 7 of Freelancers, well, the story follows a power outage for it. Micah did not rent, it did not send a deposit rather for a location they're renting, which doesn't really matter at the end of the day because, you know, they have a power outage and they can't really edit anything. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. And the power outage actually unfortunately causes their computer to, they aren't aware whether or not their computer actually saved their file, which I've experienced that before. Not with a power outage, just when the computer crashes and just doesn't save file. I've lost many files that way. Or if it just doesn't record something. Yeah, well, anyway, the point, of course, of the story is that now they're locked inside. Well, they're ahead of schedule, but unfortunately, they're in there for more than 5 days without any power. Of course, it's resolved when they connect an extension cord to the neighbor's house who has a generator. Now, the story that follows it also includes a side plot of, well, one of the characters being a creep. Yeah, I'm not gonna address that one because, yeah, it's. Anyway, so yeah, that was the episode 7, and in the next episode. Now, this is the final episode of Freelancers, and in this episode, they're filming an ad for a training, a gym, and they unfortunately have some expired items, and unfortunately, the expired items result in them becoming trying to lift weights that, well, probably shouldn't lift, and lifting them incorrectly, which unfortunately causes them to be unable to move after their muscles, adjust. And this means that they aren't able to attend the gathering they're supposed to attend. So yeah, the plot stream then moves into them trying to get in shape, and they actually help solve the story by getting the neighbor to come over and help them out. And after that help from the neighbor, Ryan then calls for his grandmother by calling out her name. Well, no, calling out the statement, grandma. And that helps them get to the event. And that is where Freelancers Season 1 ends. So thank you for watching. Please do go ahead and subscribe. And please also watch some more videos. See you later, hopefully.